If you'd like this camera format, give you a thumbs up. Tour de France 2022. Pogacar, my favourite. Stage 18, had some bad luck with his disc brakes. He crashed out because of disc brakes. We're going to go deep. This is going to be a deep dive video here. I don't even know where to start. It's going to be one take, no jump cuts. Let's talk about the crash, okay? Let's talk about the crash. Is stage 11, he bonked, he ran out of sugar, he lost time. He had to try and make that time back. He had a super strong team fighting against him. Jumbo Visma, aka Rabobank, aka Michael Rasmussen's team. Just, yeah, the Rabobank, the Dutch squad goals, all right? So Pogacar, all right, had some really bad luck. COVID, snapping chains, 12-speed chains, Micah out. So, he lost a lot of his lieutenants. He had McNulty, coming through with some great riding there. But that crash, all right, all right, how's the attacks before the crash, all right? Mate, what a suspense-filled Tour de France, okay? Pog delivers, mate. He absolutely delivers. And so he come up, he crashed. We saw the crash. Now Vettelon is clipping that crash. They're editing the crash. They're editing the moment Pog's rear wheel, as he goes down left-hander, takes a so-so line, but no, he can pull it through. But he grabs a bit of rear brake, and with disc brakes on a hot day, you don't have consistent braking. It's like, especially with the road race. He's running a tubular tyre, probably on a dry day like that, maybe 100, 120 psi, okay? So super small contact patch. Smaller contact patch is smaller rolling resistance on a smoother road. We know that. France has some of the best roads in the world I've ever trained on, okay? Thailand #1, France #2. So he's got this super skinny, super race tyre with high enduro disc brakes on a hot day. What could go wrong? Comes in the left-hand corner, overcooks it a bit, grabs the brake, as he always does, and all of a sudden the rear wheel locks up. So now his line's even more exaggerated, and he's still, with all that amazing skill, this kid can ride cobbles, he can ride sprints, he can ride TTs, team time trials, he can ride track pursuit, he can do it all, okay? So one of the best bike handlers in the world. He's like Peter Sagan of the GC world, And he's Pogacar. He's the new kid on the block. So he comes around the left-hand corner, then hits a little soft shoulder of gravel, crashes, gets up on his bike, no gloves, no worries. Big cortisol spike, big adrenaline spike, which is great. If you're Lance Armstrong, 2003, was it stage 14, up to Louis Ardennes, where you get the musette in the handlebar bag, your 5900 Trek, and you crash, you get an adrenaline spike, you tap, you go. But no. We've still got the downhill to come. All right, which you've got to try and calm yourself down. All right, you've got to suppress your adrenaline, suppress your cortisol. We've got Hautacam coming up. So by the time we go in that valley, other riders are starting to catch up. You've got the green machine, the Hulk, Wout Van Aert in the green. What have you ever seen the green jersey winner on the penultimate climb, the last mountain day, the last climb of the day, leading out the yellow jersey? All right, you don't ever see that. Never seen that. The Dutch riders and the Belgians, they've gone on the good programs, good protocols, getting it done. Anyway, so amazing physiology there. And Pogacar's, the cortisol's wearing off, the adrenaline's wearing off, started to climb, hot day, the apathy starts to kick in. You can see that Pog, he lost a bit of mental wind. He lost a little bit of emotional muscle. And that's not because he's got a bad character, that's purely hormonal, all right? Hormonal, okay? Cortisol, adrenaline starts to dissipate, start to percolate out of the main muscles, out of the main bloodstream, just dissipating out. And he's starting to feel a bit more relaxed, post-nut vibes almost. But you don't need no post-nut vibes right now. He's got the horse. All right, memory card out of space. Where was I? Post-nut, come to your senses. That's right, Pogacar, all right, needs to go full gas, needs to give it everything. It's a hot day as well, all right? So cortisol, adrenaline suppression is even greater on a hot day, all right? You just, and so he's just, he could just sort of see there's some steam ran out of his fight, just dissipate, like a bit of spirit leaving him temporarily there. And then it started to kick in a little bit out of the top of the climb, and the crowd's cheering him. A little bit of adrenaline and cortisol started to kick in again. We got that massive spike, all right, in the valley, actually on the downhill, it's big spike cortisol, and then his levels are coming down, Levels coming down, and then we've got to go up Hautacam, His level's down here. He wants levels up here with Hautacam. Okay, you want to be going up with the climb. So he's going, his cortisol adrenaline's coming down as the climb's coming up. And then, bye-bye. Still put in an incredible ride against the fishmonger, all right? The fish and chip shop boy, you know? Schoolboy versus fish and chip shop boy. I mean, these young guys just cranking out the watts per kilo. Amazing effort. Still not as fast as Bjarne Riis, all right? Bjarne Riis did like a 34 up Hautacam, I think it was, and then I think Jonas did like about a 36-ish. But again, you know, Jonas wasn't going full gas. He didn't need to because he got a 2-minute gap, all right? But in the end, he laid down some watts per kilo. But again, at the same time, he went across the line reasonably fresh. If you compare Jonas's face with Bjarne Riis's face, there's, you know, imagine if Bjarne Riis is knocking on your door at 4 a.m. with that face on. You'd be like, versus Jonas knocking on your door, hey, I'm from Denmark, I'm lost. Well, no worries, mate, come in, we'll show you some directions, okay? So the exertion faces are vastly different. There's only like a 2-minute gap between them. So I think Jonas, if he really had some good stimulation there, he could probably crack Bjarne Riis's Hautacam 96 time. And remember, those bikes that they used in Hautacam were freaking lightweight, man. They were lightweight, okay? The wheels were lighter than what they got today, okay? And they were on tubular tires, so super fast setup, maybe a little bit of tailwind, who knows? But either way, still amazing performances. The Danes know how to get it done. Michael Rasmussen, a yellow jersey, Bjarne Riis, yellow jersey winning. And now we have Jonas Vingegaard potentially going to win the Tour de France. So it's not over until it's over, all right? You never know what happens in the Tour de France. It's the drama central. But, yeah, most likely, Jonas is going to take the Tour de France 2022. But again, you never know what happens. Crashes, attacks, COVID, positives, blah, 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 okay? Anyway, that's the deal. But yeah, Pog, man, stage 11 bonk, and then disc brake dilemmas. Otherwise, Pog was the strongest rider in the race. People are like, no. So there's 4 types of people who watch Tour de France, all right? There's 4. I can think of 4. Maybe you think of 10. I can think of 4. First is just the spectator, like they don't follow cycling too much. They're like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. Let's go out and have some sun with the family and watch it on the TV. And like, it's just the Tour de France is an amazing event, you know? Bike racing in general is just, you know, get outside with the family, have a bit of tucker and get it going. So it's number 1, spectator, just general spectator. 2, you got the spectators are cyclists. You know, maybe they got a little road bike or a bit of, you know, they're a bit passionate about it, maybe go for a cycling holiday and yeah, have a fizzle around there. You know, got a little carbon fibre bike and stuff like that. Get into it, you know, they know the names, they know a little bit of tactics, but yeah, they're pretty gullible, pretty naive, and maybe a little bit of Dunning-Kruger in there as well. I think they know, but they don't know too much. And then you got the third type who's an experienced racer, someone like me, someone who coaches riders, someone who talks to World Tour riders, someone who's in the lingo, someone who, like me, who's used performance-enhancing drugs. All right, so someone who deeply understands the technical side, tactical side, and pharmacology, nutrition, and physiology side. Okay, and I can tell you what, right now, Pog was definitely the strongest rider. All right, his team was, you know, great, but not as strong as the Rabobank Jumbo-Visma team. I mean, a lot of people don't know what Rabobank was. You know, kids, but you're wrong. Disc brakes rule. Rabobank? What's Rabobank? You know, who's Dr. Linders? What are you talking about, Junior? Aero disc brakes are better. Who's Dr. Linders? And then you got your 4th type of Tour de France spectator, who's the business person, who's like, they don't care about these riders. They don't care if these riders get busted or have a crash or whatever happens to them. They're all just thinking about how much money can we make on these riders, these pawns that we replace and displace and see you later. You get busted, we'll discard you and grab someone else. We don't care what you do. Blah, blah, blah. So that's, so obviously a minority of the business person is looking for monetary commodification gains of Tour de France, exploitation of the riders, etc. So they would, you know, I'd classify those as the mainstream cycling media, you know, cycling tips, cycling news. They don't really care about the riders. They don't care about the mechanics. They just like, how can we make money? Let's cover this, blah, blah, blah. Let's advertise. And hey, it's all business. It's the Tour de France, professional sport. It's just aggressive exercise funded by money to make more money. And that's what it is. Hey, it's what we live in, all right? But yeah, just see it for how it is. But yeah, I love watching the Tour de France. But I did, as soon as I saw Pog's crash, I'm like, oh man, like, this is not how I want it to be. You know what I mean? These bikes are shit. These brakes are shit. Shimano just released ABS. Okay? Do you know why? Because disc brakes suck on road bikes, man. Because you lose traction so easily. In the wet, you lose traction because the roads are slippery and you got this little contact patch. Or why don't you just ride big tyres? It's just road racing, man. All right, disc brakes for gravel, yeah. Disc brakes for e-bikes, yeah. Disc brakes for mountain bikes, yeah. We're talking 25mm tubulars, man, on smooth French roads. There's no need for disc brakes, all right? Disc brakes are dangerous when you're running a 25mm tubular, okay? Or just run tubeless. Do you know how dangerous tubeless is? You get a blow it at 100k an hour, you're straight away on the rim, okay, with tubeless. Actually, your tyre's probably blowing off the rim. But with the tubular, you can ride it a lot more, okay? So again, a lot of people have never even ridden tubulars. What's a tubular doing to either air a disc brake right through? They just think because what's in the Tour de France 2022 is the modern tech latest stuff, it's the best. It's the crap, it's the chains, 12-speed chains of a biomechanic. They twist and they bend and they break easier than ever before. Because it's so thin, they're too thin. 12-speed chains are shit. I had my 12-speed Duras group set. I sold it even before I put it on the bike. I was like, no, this is just, it's heavy and it's going to be unreliable for my level. And anyway, so this is the deal. So, again, people don't understand what the insights I'm offering, and that's okay. I didn't understand these things there. I was just a blind audience, a participant, and I think I love the Tour de France. I've been staying up late most nights this month. Going to get my stay straight, and beautiful. But again, we'll get back to the normal sleep schedule now. And I guess there you go. So people why? Oh man, that's another video. That's another video about the comparisons to being a race and stuff like that. But that's another video. But anyway, professional sport people, it's about business. It's about making money. It's about entertainment. Okay.